The cool thing about New York, like I was talking about before, is that the companies have really grown a lot over the past few years. So we have some really amazing ones that are kind of headquartered here. I mean, Etsy, Kickstarter, MakerBot, Upworthy, BuzzFeed. These are amazing companies, and we can set aside the fact that they're not very good at building technology, but they're really good at business, right? So New York is known for it. We're going to bring out Birchbox, who's just raised $60 million in funding, and they're nailing it in the business front. So Colleen Taylor is going to interview Katia Beauchamp and Hayley Barna. Please welcome them to the stage.
So you brought the birch boxes with you.
Don't leave home without them.
We could throw them out like a t-shirt cannon, but with birch boxes.
I brought a gun to shoot them.
We can try. So, so just a few weeks ago, $60 million. That's a nice round number, a nice big number. And I remember a time that we spoke a couple of years ago now, and I think it was Katia, I was talking to you, and you were at that time really forgoing raising more funding, and you were really, really happy to be growing organically, just with the 11 million that you had raised up into that point. What changed?
I mean, I actually just heard Fred talk a little bit about it and about his philosophy. It isn't, for us, it wasn't the goal or the end game to raise as much capital as possible. We always wanted to build a business that was a great business with an incredible business model, path to profitability, and with the ability to be a standalone company. So for us, we defined as success as controlling our own future and our own destiny. And as Fred articulated pretty well, a lot of that comes with, how much you raise, how diluted you are, and we were very lucky. Birchbox, when we started the company in business school, one of the most exciting proof points was that our small but meaningful investments from us, we immediately earned that money back. So we've been able to grow in a material way, but self-funded. And, we were talking about this earlier, but, at the end of this year, or at the end of 2013, we found ourselves with an incredibly robust business that consumers were loving, that brands were seriously making space for. And we realized that raising capital means that we can grow even faster into an industry that is massive and basically, aim at the heart of it. So the beauty industry that we're in, it's a $40 billion industry in this country, and we're really excited because we know we can be a major retailer within that space.
And can you give me some numbers that you're at right now? I know it's 800,000 paying subscribers every month.
Yep, exactly. So we have 800,000 subscribers globally. Half of those subscribers shop for full-size products. Birchbox is a retailer. The whole vision behind Birchbox was to make it easy, efficient, and fun to buy beauty products online. So we're doing that.
And I know there was a minute when Ken Lehrer, one of your investors, even publicly, he had been asking Birchbox to be a little more courageous, take more of his money especially. He wanted to throw more money at you guys and really take some more risks in your business.
Yeah, I think we've been known as being realistic or maybe even a little conservative with our projections. When we raised our seed rounds, our 5-year number, we ended up hitting 7 months after launching the business. So it might have been around that time that the investors were saying, girls, you got something on your hands, push this harder. But we preferred to do it, as Katia said, on the strength of our own financial business model and not raise the money until it was on our own terms.
And if you think about it, I mean, conservative is a completely subjective viewpoint, right? Within a year and a half of operating, we were looking at acquiring a company, moving into 3 new markets. We launched a new vertical. We have over 200 employees today in the US, another over 50 in Europe. We have collaborated with all sorts of massive brands. We're working and investing in brands today. There's been nothing slow about our growth. And there have definitely been times when our investors or outsiders have said, why don't you verticalize this? Just plant your flag in absolutely everything that could be an of-the-month club. And we personally really believe that there's a balance between taking over the world and building a sustainable business model. And we think we've tread that line well in a way that's allowed us to be sustainable and continue to control our own destiny.
And speaking of that, I feel like every day at TechCrunch, either in our tips box or in my personal email box, I get a pitch for the Birchbox 4X. I think just 2 days ago, it was the Birchbox for cocktails.
Cool.
Or a Birchbox, right, for all these different things. Is there a burden on Birchbox that comes along with that when you hear about these companies?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we realized is that what people have really taken a liking to about Birchbox is one piece of what we do, this of the month piece. And for us, we really believe that's the beginning of the conversation we have every month with consumers. This is our right to get into your home, into your most intimate space and be on your mind. But by no means were we ever thinking, what we want to do is sell people boxes. We have always seen that there's a massive industry that really wasn't able to engage with consumers on the internet for first-time purchase. Before Birchbox, all that was happening online in beauty was replenishment. And the entire industry is spending billions of dollars a year to recruit customers with new launches. And we have always seen the point of Birchbox as getting on your mind so that you will then buy things from us. So, you know, what we think is really important is the preservation of a healthy business model. We don't want, you know, it was sad when investors started seeing all of these companies come up and then so quickly seeing them go away, because it made them think that what we were doing was superficial or a fad. Now, years have gone by and we've seen them come and go, and you see Birchbox is here to stay, and we have proven and are continuing to prove that we're building a business model. We're not building a cute little idea that needs to be consumed by a larger company someday.
And many of those businesses, just to be clear, they were copying just a portion of our business model. And I think that was the hardest burden, was that it was distracting, that it made Birchbox look like an of the month club, when in fact, that was just step one of our try, learn, buy business model.
Is there any kind of temptation to, now that you've created the model, to own the model across other verticals?
Yeah, if you had asked us that 2 years ago, we probably would have told you that we were thinking about whether we should extend horizontally into other verticals. But what we've learned over time is how big the opportunity is in beauty, and that we're really well positioned to go after it. So we are focused on beauty as well as grooming and lifestyle, but with beauty as the core.
And so you sell these full-size products, you send the samples to people, and that gets them interested in them or hooked on them, and then they want to go buy the full-size products. And again, a couple of years ago when I had talked to you guys about Birchbox, the message was that you love department stores. You wanted to drive more traffic to these department stores that had beautiful cosmetics counters and things, and now you all are selling some of those things.
Well, we actually always sold. The message has always been that we are both a marketing partner and a retail partner. So one thing that we were never uncomfortable with was that we would drive sales in other people's doors. The reality is that for the beauty industry, for some industries, I mean, 90% of the transactions are happening offline. So it would be unrealistic for us to think that just because we generate new demand, we capture all of that. So we always were very comfortable with what, you know, is referred to as leakage. But we also are focused on making sure that we're building a robust merchandise catalog and experience for consumers so that they can move more and more of their purchasing online with us. And we are definitely seeing it happening, and we're really excited about it. We're also really excited that because of Birchbox, we're just growing the industry as a whole, which is having a positive impact on brick and mortar retailers too.
And you all are turning into a brick and mortar retailer here soon. You're opening up your first store here in Manhattan and Soho this summer. Mm-hmm. Is that an experiment, or in the future could we see a Birchbox in every city physically?
Whoa, rein it in.
So it's an experiment.
For us, we're thinking about it as a laboratory. As Katia said, the majority of beauty transactions happen offline. That's why we created this touch, try, and feel aspect of our online e-commerce business model. But we're so excited to open this store, to interact with customers face-to-face, to create a great representation of the Birchbox brand, the Birchbox Disneyland, if you will, a place where people can go and really interact with the products. So we're treating it as the first store, one that will be, you know, a good business and potentially could be rolled out, but it's just step one.
How will you know if it's a success, if it's something that you want to expand more?
Well, we've never been patient for profitability. We're going to see the numbers. We're going to also understand how it impacts our online business, customer acquisition, the lifetime value of consumers who engage with us in that space. Mm-hmm. the whole, the motivation to have this laboratory was because we feel like as an online first company, we are very well positioned to really understand omni-channel in our space. And a lot of retailers who start brick and mortar and then add online, it's a reverse mentality of how do we make sure that there are like screens there. But we think that there's so much more you can do to create a robust shopping experience. So if, there's the tangible KPIs, which we will measure, and then there's the intangible